Hello, everyone. Welcome. Thank you all for joining. My name is Mike. I'm a product marketing manager here at Wyre. I'm joined today by a couple of my very esteemed colleagues, Craig Liu, who is the blockchain product manager, Jamal Raees, who is the head of blockchain strategy, but also having a bit of camera difficulties at the moment. And then we also have Tyler Anderson, who's the partnerships marketing manager, who's going to be just assisting with some logistics. So thank you all so much for coming. I'm very excited for these guys to talk about SmartRamps today and to hopefully answer some questions for you all. If you want to pop some questions into the chat on YouTube on the right, feel free. Tyler will be monitoring that and we'll get to them at the end. Also, if you are in our Discord or on Twitter, feel free to pop any questions on there as well. Again, thanks all for being here. And Jamal, are you? I know your video is a little funky, but are you ready to go?
Yeah, absolutely. Sorry, can you guys hear me?
Yep, you're all good. You're all good. We hear you fine, and you've never looked better.
Sorry for the camera issues, but I figured I'd save you guys from the horror today.
Awesome. All right, I'll hand it over to you, and off we go.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm Jamal. I lead our crypto strategy here at Wyre. So I get to work really closely with Craig and team and everyone else to get added or to get new crypto stuff just added to the platform. We're really excited and bullish on new cool crypto technologies like smart contracts and NFTs and NFT custody and DeFi. So Craig and I get to work really closely together on adding just the cool stuff to support our developer base so people can start building on Wyre, taking advantage of the blockchain itself. Wyre, for those people who don't know, Wyre is essentially I like to think of us as almost like the Stripe for crypto. We're a crypto infrastructure payments company that provides a pretty robust suite of APIs that allow developers to basically build and integrate crypto payments and solutions into their apps. So whether it's someone trying to integrate a fiat on-ramp or crypto custody or off-ramps or money movement, whatever it is, Wyre provides both the compliant and technical connections, compliance and technical connections for a developer to be able to do that. When you think about the two major value props that Wyre really provides, it's centered around those two major things. Number one, Wyre is a fully regulated and fully licensed entity where we provide that full compliance stack behind the money movement to make sure that these developers and these apps don't actually have to worry about those licenses and regulatory work on their own. So we're a registered money service business in the United States where we also have a number of money transmitter licenses, and our team is hard at work at getting full coverage across the entire 50 states with those money transmitter licenses, which should allow us to perform compliant money movement and custody on behalf of our end users. We also have regulation and jurisdictions outside the U.S. as well. So we operate in 6, 7+ jurisdictions, but we're also licensed outside of the U.S., namely in the EU. We have our VASP license, which allows us to custody and move digital assets on behalf of users in the EU. In Australia, another example, we're regulated with AUSTRAC. So we have an AUSTRAC registration and are a registered money business there as well, which allows us to operate in the Australia and Asia APAC area as well. So number one, Wyre brings that compliance and regulatory stack. So someone like a developer doesn't have to worry about getting licensed themselves to be able to build and integrate all these cool functionalities into their app. Number two, it also takes a ton of work and effort to go and connect to all of these cool fiat and crypto ecosystems so that they can all be available for a developer to integrate to via API without having to understand that technology themselves. So on one side, we have our fiat relationships, like, for example, taking card payments, taking bank payments, taking Apple Pay payments, etc. But we also have a number of crypto payment mechanisms, like being able to take payments in Bitcoin, Ethereum, USDC, Stellar assets, Avalanche assets, and more. So all the connections that go into wrapping that suite of services and that payment network that we have into just some simple and easy APIs that a developer can integrate to. We, I guess, have talked, we brought up a new product that we're really excited about, SmartRamps. SmartRamps is basically what we think is the key bridge between the Web3 world, which is super exciting and innovative, and the Web2 world, where all our traditional mainstream ecosystem users are. So what is SmartRamps? SmartRamp is essentially a sequence of one or more on-chain transactions executed by Wyre on behalf of an end user in order to obtain a pre-specified output. So what that means is we've actually done the legwork of actually creating a direct connection to smart contracts so that our users can take their traditional fiat assets, like their card payments, their Apple Pay payments, eventually even their bank accounts and more, to be able to directly interact and execute smart contract functions and calls on the blockchain itself. The first iteration of this integration is we are starting with allowing basically traditional fiat users to take their debit card, credit card, and potentially Apple Pay payments and be able to actually purchase NFTs directly from a smart contract, namely the Nifty Swap smart contract that we're integrated with to start. So a user can basically create a payment mechanism or payment request at Wyre, submit their card details and some light KYC details, and actually Wyre will spin up the crypto infrastructure to execute that smart contract call directly to the NFT contract and execute that transaction on behalf of the end user. So future iterations of the integration can look in a variety of ways. We've built this to be very, very open architected. So everything we've built in the past has been designed around adding new smart contracts into the platform, so people can basically route their smart contract calls to a contract that they have comfortability with or they want to build on. So like some conversations obviously currently in the mix and definitely some conversations in the hopper right now. But we're looking at where we could go with this. So we could definitely enter the realm of DeFi with companies like Uniswap and Aave, where we basically can take traditional fiat assets, use them to purchase crypto, and then actually interact with DeFi contracts as well. So whether it's on the liquidity provisioning side, whether it's on like the trading or the executing side, we can help facilitate liquidity drops or liquidity swaps, basically in a decentralized finance setting. So imagine being on Uniswap and being able to take funds directly from your bank account and stake them into a liquidity contract to become a liquidity provider. Imagine taking your debit card and going directly to a Uniswap contract and using one of our supported currencies to swap into one of the thousands and thousands of currencies that they have supported on their platform. Or imagine being able to do a loan directly from a smart contract with your debit card or your bank account. So DeFi is a really interesting space for us. We're in the process of evaluating what parts of the DeFi ecosystem we should go after, what smart contracts we should look at, what companies are the best to align to basically expand this vision of bridging Web3 decentralized functionality to actually the traditional mainstream market that currently is underserved when it comes to these apps. Um, Other gaming use cases are also really, really interesting to us. So, like you have gaming platforms like Sandbox and Axie Infinity, etc. We have the ability to take traditional fiat assets and allow those users to be able to interact with in-game assets and in-game contracts without having to understand or need, MetaMask wallets or any other traditional EOA wallets to be able to do that. I think the first integration that we will launch, hopefully in the coming weeks, maybe months, will be our integration with Skyweaver and the Horizon blockchain team, who's been really critical in helping us actually build this solution out. So people playing the Skyweaver game, which is a decentralized blockchain-based game that's on Polygon, traditionally those people need to purchase Polygon assets, whether it be USDC or native Matic itself, and actually need to load up their wallet, receive those funds in their wallet, then go actually and interact with the smart contracts in a wallet that they have themselves, which can be kind of difficult. The first integration that we're going to have with Skyweaver is going to allow people to take their direct debit card, credit card, and potentially Apple Pay, and actually directly interact with their Nifty Swap contract that sits behind the Skyweaver ecosystem to allow them to purchase NFTs that can be utilized in the actual game itself directly with their fiat assets. They don't need to have any crypto assets to be able to purchase it. Wyre handles that conversion for them. And then we just deliver the asset directly to their Sequence wallet, which is the wallet that they use to play in game. So a lot of different options there of what we can integrate, but we're very bullish on the whole gaming ecosystem. So the idea is that supporting these gaming innovative smart contracts with traditional fiat assets will only increase the speed that they grow and the benefits they provide some of the users. Well, I guess I already kind of covered this for the most part, but Skyweaver is definitely our first use case that we're launching. We're super excited to launch with the Horizon team. Basically, users will be able to take their traditional fiat assets, card, debit card, whatever, and directly interact with one of these contracts to be able to purchase one of these NFTs and be able to use them in game as well. And I guess with that, I'll probably pass it over to Craig, unless there are, any questions or anything else from me before we pass it over.
Thank you, Jamal. So really quickly, I'll go through what the SmartRamp flow looks like. And basically, we can divide it into two different sections. So the first section is when the user actually goes through the checkout flow and confirms their purchase using one of their valid fiat payment methods. And the second flow is when we actually execute the on-chain transactions on behalf of the user to obtain the output and sending that output to the end user. So in the first flow, the user will proceed through a UI around either our white label card processing API or within our checkout widget directly. And within that UI, they'll enter their information such as like billing address, card information, etc. And then once all that information is provided, they can click confirm after reviewing their purchase to send the fiat to Wyre. So that's the checkout flow for the end user. And then the second part comes into play once Wyre receives that fiat payment. And essentially what we do is we execute some on-chain transactions from a dedicated SmartRamp hot wallet to these different smart contracts that are within the particular smart script that we're invoking. And after all those on-chain transactions are executed successfully, we obtain the output and we send that output to the end user. So in the case of Skyweaver, this might be like an ERC1155 token or a basket of those tokens, and the user will receive those tokens directly in their specified hot wallet.
Great. Thank you both so much for the quick overview. We do have a couple questions here that we've gotten in some of our DMs, and Tyler is on the prowl for any more. So I guess, again, thanks so much for giving that quick overview. I guess Craig, maybe I'll pass this first one to you. How can I use a SmartRamp in my own project? If you can kind of go into how can someone implement a SmartRamp?
Yeah, so for developers within the ecosystem that are creating, for example, their own smart contracts that they'd like users to interact with, but they want more adoption of their smart contract than just more user adoption, they can implement a SmartRamp for their particular smart contract. So allowing users to use a valid fiat payment method to purchase the output of their smart contract. That definitely increases the value proposition of integrating a particular smart contract significantly because it just brings more liquidity to it. So that's on kind of like the protocol / developer side. And then applications who want to reduce a lot of the user friction that comes with initial onboarding, they can integrate SmartRamps so that users can onboard into their application in just one simple transaction, as opposed to, for example, like creating an account on Coinbase, buying the input token on Coinbase, transferring it to the hot wallet, and then signing on-chain transactions to obtain an output. So yeah, I would say like for applications, really the big use case there is like just to reduce onboarding friction and just grow their user base. So there are a lot of different ways in which you can integrate SmartRamp. I think there are benefits across the board, whether you're like at the protocol layer, whether you're at the application layer, or even if you're just like an end user as well. Jamal, do you want to add anything to that?
No, that was great.
Awesome. Yeah, thank you. Good. I'll just, for this next one, I guess I can actually maybe take this one. I guess there's documentation somewhere to read about SmartRamps. And there's actually in the description of the video, there's a link to our API docs, which spell out the documentation that we have right now for this first use case of SmartRamps that we've collaborated with Horizon for. And there also is another video of Craig Liu, wonderful video of him walking through, doing a quick demo of the API calls, also on our YouTube channel, so you can check that out as well. And then, of course, we have a landing page where there's plenty of information with where you can pitch us your own idea for a SmartRamp, so that hopefully we can build one together. So there's a couple links in the description, so check it out, and then also check out Craig's video. And then
sorry,
oh yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
Piggyback up on that. Like definitely reach out. We'd love to chat. If you're working on a project or you think you have a good smart contract that should be part of our APIs, like definitely reach out and get in touch. Like we'd love to explore and brainstorm with you guys on like how this is built out and provide guidance on how to build out on the existing API, but then also take some suggestions and work with you guys on future iterations of the integration as well. So we'll definitely be taking submissions and having conversations on what smart contracts we should integrate with next as well.
Rad. Awesome. And then let's jump to the last question, number 3 here. Is there UI? What does it look like when I implement? I guess, yeah, I'll pass this one back to Craig. Do you want to take this?
Yeah, so currently there is no UI. It's just a set of APIs. So you can build on top of the APIs, create your own checkout UI around them, and essentially go through our white label approach. But we are working on building out a SmartRamp widget that you can easily embed into your application and direct users to, and they can just proceed through an already built UI and complete their SmartRamp transaction.
Excellent.
Awesome. So we just got another question in that came through our Twitter. This could be either for Jamal or Craig. I'll let you guys decide. What kind of businesses and projects will this help, and how?
Ooh, that's a great one. I guess I can start, and then Craig can piggyback on me if you have anything else for sure. But I mean, there's a very broad range there. I mean, ultimately, the goal of this solution at its absolute core is to make it incredibly easy for us to bridge the gap between Web 2 and Web 3. And I think we can all agree that there's definitely a gap there. And that gap is slowly closing with the help of, the whole ecosystem and tools like Wyre, where developers can build on and integrate those solutions in there. But I think that the core of this product is that we want to help people who traditionally just have too much friction to be able to interact with decentralized apps, to have an option to be able to interact with these apps using a custodial service like Wyre, to be able to actually, interact and take advantages of the blockchain, take advantages of smart contracts. We're really, really, really bullish on smart contracts at Wyre. We think it's one of the most important tools a developer has to be able to actually build and actualize their vision as a developer. So we want to just bridge that gap. We want to allow users to come in and not need to understand what a complex private key is, what a MetaMask wallet is, what a smart contract is as a whole. We want them to be able to take advantage of decentralized technology and still be able to use their traditional assets where they feel comfortable and they have all their stuff. Craig, I don't know if you want to say anything else.
Yeah, just to piggyback off of what you said, the key there is just reducing friction. Like I think the first wave of users that were comfortable interacting on chain and signing transactions themselves, managing their private keys, managing gas, all those different complexities that come with blockchain interaction, they were comfortable managing that. But we really want to onboard that next wave of users that just want a simple experience where they can just use fiat payment methods to onboard directly into these smart contracts.
Yeah, awesome. And I love this is like part of the reason why I love Wyre too, is because like, it's like when you go to a store and you buy the classic cup of coffee, it's like you don't know who's processing your card payment or the issuing bank, acquiring bank, like definitely all the layers that happen in a purchase. And right now in Web3, we have to actually do all of the steps. So I don't know, it's just cool. SmartRamps is just one of those things that kind of starts to take away some of those layers and makes it so much easier for am I allowed to say normie to like access the advantage of the blockchain? But Awesome.
Hey, so there was another question that just came through on the chat. I think you guys might have touched on it a little bit, but just to reiterate, how can this help forward DeFi?
I mean, just a tremendous amount of the pain points that exist with fiat or DeFi today are all around complexity and just like a difficult difficult learning curve that it takes for people to understand what a smart contract is, what a wallet is, what that liability looks like, and having to understand all these different pieces that go into it. So I think the most important thing that this does is just simplify smart contract interaction, which is what the basis of DeFi really is built off of. So from a DeFi perspective, like there are a large amount of people that understand the high level of these DeFi apps, and they think that they're truly, innovative and want to get involved. But there's just too much friction for them to realize what a MetaMask wallet is and what loading up that MetaMask looks like. Or maybe they're like, they just don't have the time to learn it or something like that. But what these functions do, these SmartRamp calls do, is they essentially make that person they enable that person to take their traditional assets, their traditional ecosystems that they're used to, and allow them to interact with these ecosystems that normally have been prohibited to them because they just don't understand it. So, I mean, the answer is generically around smart contracts. We simplify smart contracts, and smart contracts are the basis of DeFi. But yeah, like that can be thrown in a million different use cases.
Yeah, and just to add to that, like I think 10, 15 years down the road, or maybe even sooner, a lot of these like centralized institutional players are going to be adopting DeFi protocols to allow like users or the companies themselves to generate yield. And a lot of the blockchain functionality will be abstracted. For example, like maybe you go onto a Fidelity and you have some balance of USD in your account, so fiat, and then there's an option there to generate like 10% yield on that USD. And what Fidelity is maybe doing in the background is just utilizing SmartRamp to essentially onboard your fiat into some sort of DeFi protocol in the back end. And you just generate that yield. So a lot of it's just abstracted from the end user, but they still get the benefits of DeFi.
Well said. Well said, both of you guys. Awesome. Excellent. So I think we don't have any more questions, so we'll just wrap it up here for now. But again, I really appreciate everyone who's watching, taking the time. I really appreciate Tyler. We got Tyler Anderson, Craig Liu, Jamal, anonymous Jamal, for giving their thoughts. This is super cool tech. It's super exciting. As Jamal said, please feel free to reach out to Wyre through any of our channels. We love to hear from you. We're here to build. And again, thank you so much for attending, and we'll talk to you soon.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, everyone.